Hey everyone, welcome to 996 The Howl. For the uninitiated, this is an unedited YouTube vlog discussing everything Arizona Coyotes, and let's do a tier list. Let's do the most unprofessional tier list you will ever see on YouTube. Got a list of about 100 Coyotes players. Gonna rank my favorite Coyotes players with no rhyme or reason, just how I feel about them. And let's get it started with Adrian Aucoin, good old Canadian boy. It's going to throw him in the C tier. Good defenseman. Was on that 2012 team. Good stud. Paul Bissonnette, the most famous NHL player on Twitter. Has his own podcast. Very funny guy on Instagram. He was a grinder. He was a fighter. Always puts on his best face. Going to throw him in the S tier. Paul Bissonnette managed to make money after the NHL in such a unique way that you just got to applaud him for that. Mikhail Bodker wanted so much money and has done nothing ever. He'll get an E just because I liked how he skated around the offensive zone and managed to do nothing with the puck. Slightly better than an F for that. Alexander Bolduc, no idea who that is. Gilbert Brule, I remember him from the Columbus Blue Jacket. Don't remember him being a Coyote. Not going to involve him. Kyle Chipchura. Good old Canadian boy. Great face-off man. Going to give him an A for sliding into the #1 center spot when the Coyotes had no players ever. Shane Doan. Oh, I mean, his name starts with the letter S, so you know where that's going. Right there. All right, Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Another S. That's 3 S's so far. Pretty good team. Boyd Gordon. Amazing face-off guy, grinder, penalty killer, Kyle Chipchura like player, but just like Chipchura, better than Gordon. So gonna give him a B. Martin Hanzal, man, I mean, he was supposed to be like a Coyotes best player for a long time and teach the kids to become an NHL player. Gonna put him, don't know what's happening here. Gonna put him in the gonna put him in the B tier. Never really amounted to anything. Gave a lot of fans blue balls, if I'm allowed to say that. Radoslav Kesla, pretty much a no-name D-man. Did what he could. Was part of that 2012 playoff run. I'll give him an E. He didn't like it when we traded him to Buffalo, I think, or Washington. He kind of retired after the Coyotes traded him. Lori Korpikoski, the Finnish speed demon. What a player. I love playing with him on NHL game, like the NHL video games. I loved him. He was so fast. Going to give him an A. Lori Korpikoski. Jason LaBarbera, he was a minor goalie for the Coyotes. You're not going to include him. Damon Lankow. Wow, I love this guy. I loved him on Calgary too. But really good Coyotes player, part of that 2012 run. This whole roster right here is from the 2012 lineup. So they get some extra points, but I love Damon Lankow. Going to give him an A. Curtis McElhaney, didn't even know he was a Coyote. Wow. But I won't rate him. That's not fair. Andy Miele was a prospect by the Coyotes. Never found his footing. He barely played for the Coyotes. I'm not going to involve him. Derek Morris, stud defenseman, shutdown D-man. Gonna put him in the B. Derek Morris. He's still in Arizona coaching young kids, so that's good for him. Petteri Nikolainen, never heard of him. Cal O'Reilly, never heard of him. Patrick O'Sullivan, never heard of him. Mark Pouliot, I think I've heard of him. Don't remember him being a Coyote. Taylor Pyatt, I remember him having a pretty rough career in the NHL. A lot of unfortunate things happening to him. As a Coyote, I'm going to put him as a C. A good third line guy. I think he was a center, yeah, or a left wing. Pretty sure he played center sometimes. Michael Roosevelt, who won a cup with the Chicago Blackhawks. Good shutdown D-man. A lot of shutdown D-men on this Coyotes roster. Going to put him the same as Derek Morris. Put him as a B. David Rumblad, he was a huge Coyotes prospect who never amounted to anything. I was excited for this kid. I'm not sure what happened. Swedish Demon never got his foot into the NHL. We'll put him as an F. Poor Rundblad. David Schlemko. He was a pretty poor defenseman. 7th, 6th D-man. I'll put him as an E. I think he played for Calgary or Montreal. He played for Montreal last year. I think he's still on the roster, but I mean, he shouldn't be on the roster. Mike Smith, gonna give him an A. Would have been an S if he didn't throw the team under the bus when he got traded. Kind of had some colorful statements for the Coyotes when he left, but I still love him. Gonna give him an A. Michael Stone, I thought he was a pretty good young D-man at the time. He was going to be another shutdown, shot-blocking defenseman, but never came to be on the Coyotes. Gonna give him a C. C for that one. Chris Summers, I vaguely remember him. He was another depth call-up defenseman. Rafi Torres, who injured Marian Hossa against the Blackhawks in 2012, and that's why the Coyotes won that round and made it to the conference final. So I'll give him an A for injuring the opposing team's top player. Kyle Turris, oh man, I mean, that's an F. If this team had Kyle Turris, we would have won a cup already. But he leaves because he hates the desert? I don't know. He just left the team. Hung him out to dry. He's on Nashville now. He left for Ottawa, of all places, but now he's on Nashville. So good luck to him. Antoine Vermette, that's an S player right there. Best face-off, best penalty killer. Won a cup with the Ottawa Senators and Chicago Blackhawks. The Ottawa Senators win the cup? No, they did not. I don't know why I said that. He was on the Ottawa team when they lost in the Stanley Cup final to Anaheim, but he did not win a cup with Ottawa. Radim Verbata, whenever he left the Coyotes, he would have terrible seasons, and then when the Coyotes would acquire him back, he'd have his best seasons. So for that, he'll get an A. He was a great goal scorer. One of the few Coyotes goal scorers we've ever had. It's like Verbata and Ray Whitney. I'll put him in the A tier as well. The Wizard, pure goal scorer for the Coyotes. He's an A. Keith Yandel, one of my favorite defensemen. Unfortunately, wanted more money. Coyotes were entering a rebuild, so Don Maloney trades him for Anthony Duclair, which seemed like a good trade at the time, but Duclair didn't amount to anything. Going to give Yandel an A. Going to move on over here. Mark Arcabello, a waiver pickup who scored like 10 goals immediately. That'll get you an A. That gets you an A. And then never amount to anything else. That's an A. Mikkel Bacher we have. We'll pick Andrew Campbell. Soup? Isn't he on like Tucson now? Pretty sure it's the same guy. Pretty sure he's still in the Coyotes organization. We'll give him a D for still not reaching the NHL, even though he's been on the team for so long. Craig Cunningham, unfortunate accident, amputating his leg recently. Still part of the organization, does a lot for the community. I'll give him an A. An A. That's a pity A. Would have given him a B. Went to a lot, we'll give him an A. Klaus Dahlbeck, loved his name, but don't remember much of his Coyote tenure, so I'll give him a D. Louis Domingue, who was given the opportunity of a lifetime to be an NHL goalie. And what does he do? He complains and puts his boss under the bus. For that, that's an F. That's, if there is an L here, if there's an L section, that's an L, but we're giving him an F. When you get an opportunity of a lifetime and squander it and then complain about it, you can't do that. Devin Dubnyk, who resurrected his career with the Coyotes and is now a Vezina candidate every year, who drags the Minnesota Wild to a bubble playoff team every year, we'll give him an A. Devin Dubnyk, you know, resurrected his career in the desert, never forget. Martin Erat, I remember this trade deadline acquisition. Don Maloney said this guy's going to pot 20 goals easy, and then never did anything. I'll give him a D. Sam Gagner, who was acquired in the offseason to score goals, to be a number one centerman, and he did nothing. Gonna give him a D. He's still in the NHL with the Edmonton Oilers. Hope he somehow finds his way there. Tyler Gaudette, a young prospect who never amounted to anything and who just got picked up by the Leafs. I'll give him an F for being a pretty big prospect in the Coyotes pipeline, but not doing anything. Brandon Gormley, another prospect who couldn't find his footing in the NHL. That's an F. I mean, these draft picks from Don Maloney are so hard to swallow. So hard. Justin Hodgman, he scored 1 goal. Didn't he? Oh, man, I don't remember the story. I think he scored a goal. And it was important for some reason. Oh, if you guys remember why Justin Hodgman is important. Oh, man, I don't remember that storyline. But I remember he scored and, like, it was a great moment for his career. Not sure what happened. Rob Klinkhammer, an S for my favorite hockey name ever. Robbie Klinkhammer. I loved him in the NHL video games. Loved him. Always put him on the top line even though he didn't belong. Pretty much like a fringe NHL player, but he gets an S, man. Klinkhammer. Love that name. Love it. Lucas Lesio, whose father was my gym teacher. Give him an F. Another prospect who amounted to nothing. Jordan Martinook, a prospect that did amount to something, was a fan favorite, did great community work, got traded by John Chaika. Going to give him an A. I loved Martinook, and I wish him well. It was great seeing him in the playoffs this past summer for the Carolina Hurricanes. I wish him well. Ty McGinn, who was also on the Hurricanes. I don't remember him being on the Coyotes. I'm not even going to rank him, actually. Mike McKenna, I know he's a goalie. Don't remember him being a Coyote. Brendan McMillan, I remember his name. Another fringe NHLer who doesn't play in NHL. I'll give him an E. I remember playing him in the NHL video games. That's pretty much my only recognition of Brandon McMillan. Also, his last name sounds like he should be in Call of Duty. Big Z, Zabinik McCulloch. That's an A. Would have been an S. I don't know why I'm putting him in A. Just feel like he's an A. John Moore, defenseman, right? Yeah. We got him in the Yandel trade. I think he plays for New Jersey now, but he had a really short tenure with the Coyotes, so I'm not going to rank him. Dave Moss, Tank Commander Dave Moss, who scored 2 goals in the final road trip of the tank season, and it forced the Coyotes to lose out on Connor McDavid, so he gets an F for scoring and making us lose our lottery odds and missing out on McDavid. He gets an F. Connor Murphy, great young defenseman who was traded for Nicholas Hjalmarsson, who's still trying to find his way in the NHL. Hope for the best. I'm going to give him a B. I love saying his name. Connor Murphy. Dylan Reese, fringe NHLer call-up. Don't remember much of him. Tobias Reeder, who scored 0 goals in the NHL last year, playing on Connor McDavid's team. That's an F. If there was, like I said, if there was an L, prime candidate. How don't you score a goal and you're on McDavid's team? That's like comedy right there. Someone write a story. Henrik and Philip Samuelson, are they brothers? Probably. I'm going to put them in Fs because they amounted to nothing and don't play in the NHL anymore. And they were highly touted prospects. David Schlemko, I have him rated still, right? He's still here? He's somewhere here? Yeah, he's here. Brendan Shinneman. Brendan Cinnamon. Don't remember him. Chris Summers, talked about him. Jordan Schwartz. Oh, man, I remember him being another prospect, and, like everyone else, amounted to nothing. But what's funny is that the Coyotes have an advertiser called Schwartz Laser Eye Surgery, and I always found it funny if Schwartz ever made it on the team that he'd have a good ad campaign with Schwartz Laser Eye Surgery. But he'll get an F for not doing anything. Here we go. Moving on here. Mikhail Balker, Kyle Chapchura, Kevin Connaughton. Boy, you're getting an S for being a defenseman and scoring 11 goals. Unbelievable. Big old Kev dog. Craig Cunningham, Laurent Dauphin, here we go. Back and forth with the Coyotes organization. Finally gone from the organization for good. We'll give him a D for trying his hardest every damn time, but never breaking that fourth line role. Keep being you, buddy. Max Domi, he'll get an S for my favorite player. Have his jersey. Can't wear it because he's not on the team anymore. Makes me mad. Waste of money. He gets an S. Steve Downey gets an F for being a Twitter drama queen and throwing the team under the bus. That's an F. Oh, I made his name smaller. Okay, that looks ugly. He's an ugly guy. Gets an ugly name. Anthony Duclair, part of the Killer D's, the double D's, him and Max Domi. One of my favorite duos in the NHL, on the Coyotes at least. I'll give him a B for... I mean, this guy has discipline problems. I can't advocate I can't advocate bad disciplined players, so that's why he gets a B. He's been in the doghouse for like 6 NHL coaches now. I hope he's find his way in Ottawa. Hope he finds his way. He's got to learn to put in the work. Nick Grossman, give him a D. Give him a D here. Nick Grossman, because he's a D. He was a defenseman, going to give him a D. Anders Lindback, very tall, one of the tallest goalies in the NHL. Don't really remember much of his Coyotes tenure. Going to give him an E for being tall. Moving on, we'll do Brad Richardson. He gets an A for sticking with the team all these years, scoring big goals, being one of the best penalty killers in the NHL at the moment. Him and Michael Grabner are unreal. What did I say, A? Yeah, I'll give him an A. Brad Richardson. It's going to leave a mark on the Coyotes franchise when he leaves one day. And Viktor Tikhonov, I'll rank him because he wore my favorite number and was the worst player to ever wear that number that I have experienced in my life. So I'll rank him for that sentimental value. But he's an F. He's an F because he chose a number 9, and you only wear 9 if you're a good player. I don't know why he chose 9. Okay, moving on to like a more present lineup. Josh Archibald, going to rank him a C. He got a job on the Edmonton Oilers a couple weeks ago. So, I mean, he could probably be on McDavid's line. He's fast. He's young. Doesn't have the hands to finish, but I mean, when McDavid's on your team, just put your stick on the ice, boy. That's a C for him, Josh Archibald. Kyle Capobianco. This guy got called up last season, and in his first period had a season-ending leg injury. I made a video specifically for that moment because I found it hilarious. The Coyotes were so injured already. Every player was getting injured. They had to dig deep into their prospect pool. They call up this young kid who was when you get called up in the NHL, you make like 100,000 times more than what you make in the American Hockey League on a daily basis. So per day, he literally made like a third of his yearly salary in one day just because he got called up in the NHL. And he immediately got injured with a leg injury. And if you get injured on the NHL level, you stay on an NHL contract. So for the past like 5 months, he's been getting paid NHL salary sitting in bed because he got injured in the first period of his call-up. And it's so funny. I'm going to give that a B because he's making bank. He's making $700,000 just because he broke his leg. Funny stuff. Jacob Chikrin, oh, he's going to break out soon. I love this kid. This guy works out so much. He loves working out. He's a huge man, and he's like 21 years old. I'm not going to say more because I might get demonetized. He'll get an S. Just a huge body. Just huge. Adam Clendenny played like 5 games with Coyotes and then got shipped away. Nick Cousins, unfortunately not with the team anymore, got picked up by Montreal. I hope him and Domi have a good time together next season. But Nick Cousins, he did his job when called upon, and it's nothing but admiration for Nick Cousins. So I'll give him a B. Nick Cousins coming through for the team on countless occasions. Lawson Krause, the sheriff, drops the gloves, stands up for his teammates, scores goals. He's like 6'3". He's fast. He's got all the tools in the toolbox. Just got to put it all together. And he got awarded with a contract recently. So he's going to break out, but for now he'll be a B. And then moving on, Jason Demers broke his leg last season after scoring a goal. He literally scored a goal, and then like next shift broke his leg and never played again for the season. He'll get a B. Last season was rough for legs and knees. Christian Dvorak, he's got to break out soon. I love this kid. Great two-way player. He has the offensive talent. He won the OHL championship with Mike Domi with the London Knights. Scored like 120 points that season, but he can't replicate it in the NHL level. So hopefully, he'll break out soon. Going to give him a B. Christian Fischer, this guy makes me so upset. I mean, he's literally Lawson Krause. He's big, tall, fast, rushes the net, big power forward, but so inconsistent and can't put it together. Gonna give him a C. It's his last year in his entry-level contract, so he has to break out this year. I mean, if he doesn't, I don't see John Chaika signing him. Alex Goligoski, everyone hates Goligoski, blames him for everything, but I think he's a good veteran D-man. Think he's got the offensive upside. Think he's a good mentor for the defensive side of the team. I'll give him a B. I like him more than all you guys. So give him a B. Freddie Hamilton was signed by the Coyotes. I'm pretty sure he played one game, and now he's not on the team anymore. Aiden Hill, our best goalie prospect, who should be making the jump soon, but has never been able to pull it together. Despite all the goalie injuries we've had in years, he's never been able to make the jump to the NHL. So I'll give him a C for that. He's got to make the jump soon. I mean, he's getting older and older. He's like 25. He's hitting that goalie age where it's time. Like, this is what people see out of you. If you're 25 and a goalie, this is all you're gonna become. So I hope for the best. He's got to make a stamp. If Ranta or Kemper get injured this year, he's got to run away with that job and never look back, or else he probably won't sign with Coyotes next year. Nicholas Hjalmarsson gets an A. Best shot blocker in the NHL. Best penalty killer D-man in the NHL. And he's an Arizona Coyote. Clayton Keller, where's my favorite number? Number 9. Great breath of fresh air after Tikhonov for that number. Now I could finally buy a number 9 jersey and not be embarrassed. So Clayton Keller, underperforming. Gonna give him an A. He's going to break out. He would have been an S tier, but he had a sophomore slump, and he's got to pick it up. Darcy Kemper, give him an S for that wonderful job he did last season, dragging the Coyotes to 4th place in the division and 1 spot below the wild card. I mean, no other goalie would have done that. Nicholas Merkley, barely paid for Coyotes. He's going to push for a job this upcoming season. Dakota Mermis, more of a Tucson Roadrunner. Trevor Murphy, another Tucson Roadrunner. Richard Panik, he had a great season and a half for the Coyotes. And unfortunately, he walked away to Washington Capitals. And good for him. I like what he did with the Coyotes. He served his time. I know that's bad to say. He did serve his time, but he did score some good goals. He had a lot of great chemistry with Derek Stepan, so I wish him nothing but the best. Brendan Perlini, another prospect who never put it together for the Coyotes. Going to put him in the E pile. Moments of brilliance, but can never put it together. And likewise, I'll just jump ahead to Dylan Strome here. One of my favorite Coyotes prospects ever. Watched him when he played on the Erie Otters. And very unfortunate that his time with Coyotes is done. And he did nothing about it. So I'll give him a D. You know what? D for Dylan. One of my favorite prospects. It was sad to see him go. Antti Ranta, gonna give him an A for that wonderful season he had in his first year with the Coyotes. But he got injured last season and barely played last season, so it was very unfortunate. Derek Stepan here, gonna give him a B. Solid veteran, solid face-off guy, great penalty killer, great veteran leader. Yeah, we're moving up to the A. Is there room for him? No more A's, no more room. And I think I'm going to end it on one more player here. Who is it going to be? It's going to be, I got a few players I can do. I'll do Connor Garland coming up on a call-up for Christmas time and never look back. That's what you do when you get called up to the Coyotes. You score a lot of goals. You earn the trust of your coach, and you get put on the ice. You get an S for the first time in a really long time, a prospect getting an opportunity. Look at all these prospects who manage to take opportunities for granted and do nothing with them. This is Connor Garland, a prospect, not highly touted. They were just getting injured left, right, and center. So they call this guy up, and he scores big goals and earns the trust. And I'm going to end it here with Vinny Hinostroza, the last player. Really like him. Fast, speedy guy. Reminds me of Keller. Just doesn't have the hands or the offensive awareness of Keller. But he's a fan favorite. I love his shootout style. I'm going to put him as a B. And I expect him to grow in that list as seasons go on. But that's it. This is the list. In the S column, you got Paul Bizanet, Biz Nasty, Shane Doan, OEL, Antoine Vermette, Bobby Klink, Big Ol' Kev Dog, Max Domi, Jacob Chikrin, Darcy Kemper, and Connor Garland. I think that's a great S tier. If I had Nick Schmaltz here, don't know where Schmaltz is. It's right here. I'm going to put Schmaltz right here. Last one. Put him in the A. Would have been S if he didn't break his leg this season. But, yeah, give him an A. That's it. I expect Schmaltz to be one of my favorite Coyote players for the next 5 years. But hopefully he puts up an 80-game season, and we'll see what happens. So that's it. There's my tier list. It's a very pathetic, low-quality tier list. But, hey, it's what we got to work with, you know. So thank you for watching, and thank you for your support.